Welcome back to MTG Dungeon, everybody. We're back from our little hiatus.
Been trapped in the dungeon.
Welcome back to MTG Dungeon.
Hell yeah. That's how you started off,
That's
boys.
right. Just scare the crap out of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if Liam would stop listening to goddamn goblins, we wouldn't get lost as often.
It's true. Goblins are hilarious, alright?
So first match we have, as Liam likes to say, Hurdy McEdgelord,
Yep.
also known as Grixis Death Shadow,
Yeah.
versus Jund.
You can only play Death Shadow if you listen to Linkin Park. And Slipknot.
Because in the end it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so I feel like game one, Jund has a slight advantage against you because of all the removal and hand disruption that they carry.
Yeah, so the hand disruption will kind of just trade back and forth in this matchup. It's really going to only answer other hand disruption spells, or like if you don't have a removal spell, you take their creature, then they use their hand disruption spell, they take your creature, you kind of just wasting time there. And then Mishra's Bauble kind of boosts Jund game one because it grows the Tarmogoyf unnecessarily. You make one of their creatures go from a generic 4/5 to suddenly a 5/6, and then it's profitably blocking all of your Gurmag Anglers, which is no good.
That's fair. That's fair.
Jund has the problem of Renin 6 not really mattering in this matchup, and then some of your removal doesn't match up very well against Gurmag Angler. Like, Gurmag Angler is the best creature from the Shadow side.
Yeah.
Unless you resolve a Street Wraith for some ungodly reason.
Right. So it looks like turn one, Bloodstained Mar for both of you, and it looks like you bobble yourself, don't like the top card, and decide to fetch it away.
That's a common trick.
Yeah.
If you have hand disruption in your hand and you know you're going to cast a spell on turn one, you should bobble your opponent just to see what's on top of their library, and then that'll help you inform, how you fetch, what deck they might be playing, how you want to shock, what you might want to Thoughtseize. Really depends. But
Yeah.
usually it's just spry one, crack a fetch land.
Oh.
If not,
Apparently someone decides to change their mind.
yeah. Something to note is that Watery Grave is the land that you go for on default in Grixis. The Temur Battle Rage is the only red card in the main board, so getting Blood Crypt, getting Steam Vents doesn't really matter game one. You usually go for like double Watery Grave before you even consider Blood Crypt.
Gotcha. It's like those team events go down to 15,
It's like
pass
Street
turn,
Wraith. There's a fetch land on Mike's side.
and Mike passes right back.
Shock again. Grip pool cards. It's like a Fatal Push, a Shadow.
What's a thought? So you could Thought Scour? Looks like Baby Jace coming down.
Yeah, run out the Jace. It's just baiting out removal.
Yep.
I don't reasonably expect Jace to even live in this matchup, but if it does live, it gives me a 2-for-1.
Yes.
So it's usually pretty good.
Yeah, and I think if Mike obviously has a Fatal Push in hand, it's obviously much better to play the Bolt.
Yeah, it's the bolt check.
Yes.
And if you can't really accelerate your life total super low, you don't want to play Death Shadow into bolt range unless you also have Straight Wraith in your hand. You can do some fun tricks where you're like, play this Shadow that's a 3/3, and they're like, bolt it, and you're like, cycle Street Wraith, what's up?
Yep. So it looks like no third land for the Jund player, which has definitely got to hurt, but it does find a Goyf.
No third land, no hand disruption. I think he did take a mulligan, so
He did.
this is not the best position to be in.
So I got a feeling you're gonna have a Gurmag coming down here pretty quick with possibility of.
Well, there's gonna be a push, and then there's gonna be a Shadow and a Gurmag Angler.
Woo!
So I see your one
That's,
creature, and I raise you by.
That's pretty good. So I push a Shadow.
Angler is also super good because
It's out of Fatal Push range by a lot.
It's out of push range, and it delves away cards in your graveyard to shrink your opponent's Tarmogoyfs. That doesn't usually matter, but if you can delve away your creatures, which you don't have any way to recur in the game one, then it prevents Scavenging Goose from meeting them.
Oh, that's right, because you're not playing main board.
That's trophy Maelstrom Pulse Bloodbraid Elf.
Oh, well, so Gurmag, if you don't have a Stubborn now, Gurmag's definitely gonna get trophy next turn. Oh,
Play a second Shadow.
yep.
Just a 3/3. And then delving away Mishra's Bauble is very important as well.
Yes.
There's Trophy on the Gurmag Angler in a pass because I'm tapped out. There's no chance of Stubborn Denial countering that. He's kind of priced into doing it because he's behind on board. but now he's tapped out. Didn't get a third land.
Yeah,
and there's
still.
a shadow on one side.
Thoughtseize.
He's now got a 5/5. He's got Inquisition, Trophy, and Bloodbraid. Take their removal spell.
Yep.
Get in there.
Stick 5, put him to 6.
Always better to be lucky than good.
Oh, wow, yeah. That was
4 creatures on my side.
Yeah, so so you played 5 creatures total, right? 3 Death Shadows?
2 Shadows.
2 Shadows, 2 Gurmags?
2 Gurmag, and a Jace.
And a Jace. Okay, so
The
5
Jace,
creatures, yeah.
We weren't expecting anything of the Jace.
Right, I mean, Jace is a removal check.
Yeah.
Alright, so looking at boards from Mike, let's see. I don't think... Plague Engineer seems fine. It's really good at blocking.
It's not killing anything with its ability, but it is just a Death Touch creature.
Yes.
And considering Gurmag Angler is such a problem, it's a fine creature to have.
I mean, also, like, naming the... Whatever... what creature type is Death Shadow?
It's an avatar.
Is it Avatar? Because if you need an Avatar, right, instead of you being at 12 to bring him out, you have to be at 11. So that can matter a little bit.
Yeah, you could name Avatar, or you could name Zombie to nerf Gurmag Angler, so your Tarmogoyfs block it better.
Yeah, because it does make it a 4/4. Like, I don't think Grafdigger's Cage does anything. I don't think Surgical... I mean, Grafdiggers might, because you do play Snapcasters. But I feel like that's not something that you want to heavily just bring in. Like, Ren and 6s are probably really dead in this matchup.
So, yeah, Ren and 6 is actually really terrible in this matchup. The minus literally never does anything, and tapping up turn 2 to recur a land is also not very good.
Yeah.
On my side, I believe at this time I had a lot of 3-drops in my board. It's changed since then, but in matchups like these, I was just boarding in too many 3-drops. Like, there was 2 copies of Seasoned Pyro, Liliana Last Hope, Liliana the Veil, 2 Kolaghan's Command, and that just clogged up the deck too much, so I moved away from that.
Okay.
And then on Mike's side, you're just cutting the... you can cut Thoughtseize, you can cut Inquisition, or at least shave down on copies of those. Really, you get rid of some of your Ren and 6s, and you can shave off on Lightning Bolts, because they're not really acting as removal in this matchup.
Yeah.
And he brings in the Plague Engineers, Kalitas, Kitchen Finks, just because it's a 2-for-1. And then it's really up to you whether or not you want Surgical or Grafdiggers.
I think they're taking out Ren and 6s, depending on what the number of copies are.
Usually you only bring in Surgical in combo matchups. I mean, against a deck like Grixis Death Shadow, if you Surgical, Angler, or Shadow, then you've effectively got rid of half of the important creatures in the deck.
Yes. Yeah.
But that doesn't really prevent the Shadow player from just drawing the other half.
Yeah.
And it's not impacting actual board state.
Yeah. If you can go turn 1 Inquisition, Surgical, like...
Yeah, I mean, the dream
Death
would
Shadows,
be you Inquisition them, there's 2 Shadows in hand, you take 1, Surgical the other, but it's not very likely to happen.
Even if I can just... I think if I could find 1, just take off Death Shadows, having to deal with Gurmag Anglers that are always going to be 5/5s, not just getting bigger, I think it'll be fine.
I think Grafdiggers is fine, because it just sits there, and it does its thing, and it nerfs your opponent's best card in the matchup for card advantage, which is Snapcaster Mage. But you have to know your opponent's boarding in Kolaghan's Command, and destroying the artifact is not unreasonable to do.
A very typical turn 1 play from Jund with the
tapped Raging Ravine.
Raging Ravine, and then your turn 1, obviously, Fetch, Shock, Thoughtseize, put myself to 15.
It's the best deck to be doing that in.
Yes.
That's like the number 1 reason why I play it. It's because you get a Fetch, Shock, develop your mana base perfectly.
It's like, and looks like we're finding Thoughtseize back.
Dismember, Stubborn.
Is it 3 Stubborns?
That is that's a poor draw. It's a poor draw.
Man.
Yeah. 3 Stubborn now, not good. Kolaghan's Command, Street Wraith.
I mean, I think it would just take the Thought
Yeah.
Scour.
Leave me with triple stub. Yeah. I know, it was double stub, 2 Thought Scour. Alright.
Yeah, okay.
It's not as worse. It's not as bad.
Yeah.
But Kolaghan's Command will get back one of those Snapcaster Mages. Lurking in there. Ghost Quarter is actually that's man. Mike's mana base always screws me up. I thought he played a Ghost Quarter, but it's just a stomping ground.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, it trades with the Stubborn and
I mean, like it's one of those like make you like it forces you to waste it, right? So you're wasting it on this
Yeah.
And so, like, that's one less in your hand for a removal spell against a Death Shadow or Gurmag Angler.
Yeah, I'm just priced into using it at that point.
Yes.
This is the big alpha brain play of, I believe, fetch, shock, pay 4 life to dismember. You know, good old 7 life to prevent 3. But when you've got shadows, in play, it's
well, you have a shadow in
spell.
hand, and so I mean, I think that would signal to the Jund player.
Yeah.
That.
Now it's shadow, go, leave up stub.
Yep. So now he's priced into finding 2 removal spells.
We kind of have the opposite thing going on right now, where the previous game Mike was operating on a low line count, and now I'm the one operating on the low line count.
But your deck does it very well.
It's a majority 1-drops,
yeah.
So it does do it very well.
I feel Jund's curve is 3.
It's 4 technically, because you've got like Kalitas on the board, and then you've got the Blood Riddles, but curve of 3 is typically what ends up happening. He goes for Kolgan's Command. This is literally just to bait out the Stubborn Denial.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'm willing to do that, because he returns, Tarmogoyf makes me discard a card. It's literally 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Then we'll see the follow-up removal spell.
Yep.
So Edict 2, that's fine. Looking to draw a land, pay 2 to cycle Street Wraith. Did not find another land. Hand's kind of clogged up at this point.
So you wanted the land so you could just
now if
Kolgan's Command, right? So you can kill Lily and get back Death Shadow?
Yeah, and now the advantage bar is like heavily in Mike's favor. If you were to look at the way that interaction went. Because Liliana now on just ticking up every turn. Scour me.
Mill a land. Find your own Liliana.
Which I would not play at this point, because he's still got a man land in play, and we both just be stripping resources out of our hands.
Yep.
There goes my Lily. There goes his land. Handmaid's Raging Ravine gets in. I go to 2.
And I know he has a bolt in hand, so you're effectively just dead.
Super dead. I milled my swamp, so I can't even fetch for it. So this fetch land is basically a tap land, and choose the bolt, and that's it.
All right. So going to game 3, which.
When either player in one of these mid-range matchups stumbles on mana, it really affects how you can develop your board.
Yes.
You saw in game 1, I was able to just power out multiple creatures.
Yeah.
And then in game 2, he was able to just power out multiple answers.
Yes.
So.
I mean, and that's really what Jund does very well. Is Jund's like, I'm going to try and stop whatever you're doing, and then just grind you out.
Jund is mid-range, but mid-range kind of pivots towards being control or being aggro, depending on what you're playing against. And Jund typically takes the role of the control deck.
Yes.
Only in a couple matchups are you the aggro deck, and that's like against Mono Green Tron. It's a lot harder for Jund to be the aggro deck. I'm getting a phone call. What's this be from Mike right now? Yep.
Answer it. It's like, hey, you're bad at magic. Click. Well, if he just tunes in, it's like, I'm not bad at magic.
Speak of the devil.
Right. Oh, all right. Oh, looks like you're taking a mulligan. Maybe? Oh, I was like, okay, card upside down. So how close are you to getting Grixis Shadow fully foiled out? I know you're supposed to do Kolgan's Commands.
That's in the sideboard. The main board, I need another foil Scalding Tarn, which I'm not looking to buy. I'd try to trade in some cards to like a vendor for that shit. And then I need to get another original set foil Shadow, because one of them is Eternal Masters.
Modern Masters
2.
Modern Masters 17.
That's the one. One of the stinky foils with a little almond on there.
Yeah. Second Street Wraith, Shock, no Thoughtseize. I'm going to guess the Thought Scour.
Yep.
There you go. Zach says you need foil Lorwyn Thoughtseizes. I definitely agree.
Look, I'm a fan of the Lorwyn Thoughtseizes, don't get me wrong. I just think that the Thoughtseizes from Theros, I think, fit better in Shadow. And I already got them, and it's like twice as much money for the Lorwyn Thoughtseizes.
Oh.
And mine are signed, so swag.
Do you know what the Lorwyn Thoughtseizes foil is?
Like at that point, if I was gonna get foil Lorwyn Thoughtseizes, at that point you might as well just get the Masterpiece or whatever. The
Masterpiece is cheaper.
Then yeah, I'd rather get that. That art's fine. It's like a big scary demon, and it's all golden. It's cool.
But you can't read it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. It's what's that? It's hieroglyphics. Okay, it's whatever I want to be. It's a Fatal Push.
This is actually Exodia. So I Thoughtseized him, and I took his Plague Engineer.
Yeah.
This is no second land. No
One.
second land.
One of Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, you're not wrong.
Technically, Magic came before Yu-Gi-Oh! Even though Yu-Gi-Oh! Didn't know about Magic when Yu-Gi-Oh! Was made.
I mean, I feel like they did, but because Yu-Gi-Oh! Also came after Pokemon.
That's true, but Akira no, what's his name? I almost said Akira Toriyama. That's completely wrong. It's Dragon Ball. Man, who wrote Yu-Gi-Oh?
No
Shoot,
idea.
I can't think of his name. But when Yu-Gi-Oh was introduced, the actual card game was introduced to the plot. It was like a one-off.
It was
one episode.
Well, yeah, it was. I mean, in the actual manga, like he's a master of all games, and it's just like it ends up being like, yeah, look, we're gonna take this card game one, and it's like we're just gonna see what happens. And it was like, oh,
People really liked this.
yeah.
Looking for lands here, not finding any.
Yeah, see, I mean, Jason's gonna flip though, so you can just like downtick target Thoughtseize him again.
Could do that, but then you can't play an actual creature because there's only one black man on my side of the field. So I pitch push.
Really? Are you just gonna downtick Jace to get the push then?
I'm pretty sure that's what I do because
Okay.
the rest of the stuff in my hand doesn't super matter. Or flashback Thought Scour. Either one.
Looks
Pick
like you
up on Goyf?
Tick
Okay.
target Goyf?
Play a shadow.
Oh, okay. So
Don't think I have anything
it's a
else
3/3 shadow, so like your Death Shadow can be bolted.
Well, Goyf was a 4/5 right now.
Yeah.
And so ticking up turns it into a 2/4. So my shadow kind of we bump into each other.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I guess I'm just stalling for more time here, try to find that third land. Because
Yeah.
if you look at the hand has like multiple Snapcaster mages.
Yeah.
Looks like an additional hand disruption spell.
So, like, Mike might be thinking about a Bloodbraid Elf here. Because he has 4 mana.
Goes for Huntmaster. Bloodbraith might be a little more advantageous because you could just cascade into removal, and I don't have anything in my hand to answer it. But he
Right,
he
and, well, and then
probably
it's
thought-
also and then it's a 3 power.
He
But he's
probably
also
thought that I had Stubborn in hand, so he'd rather play just the creature and not risk getting blown out. He's also sandbagging Kalitas, because Kalitas is better if it survives than Huntmaster.
that's also true. But I think Mike wants a 5th land with some kind of removal spell or to be able to trade well.
Since my deck operates at instant speed, it's much harder for Huntmaster to flip and actually transform, because Mike can just go no spells pass, and then I'll cast a spell on his end step.
Oh, I thought if it's a player.
If any player casts a
Oh,
spell,
okay.
yeah, then it won't transform, and then if a player casts 2 spells, then it transforms.
Okay.
So, a really greedy attack.
Yeah,
Behind.
yeah. Honestly, I feel like Mike was afraid that if he tries to double block, you just like cycle a Street Wraith and then boom, it's a blowout.
Mm-hmm. I'd argue that he doesn't even need to block at that point because he's at 21. He could have just taken it and then been left with
Two things
creatures.
to attack Jace with would have been
Yeah.
the bigger one. And he could have just killed Jace.
Yeah, I was surprised by his block. I was just getting aggressive because I was already behind, and I had a profitable attack since I had the Dismember in my hand. But I did not expect him to block with the token.
That's fair. So 5th land. So if he has a removal spell of any kind, activate Raging Ravine. Swing at Jace, I assume, because it's 3 power, right?
It goes up to 4. It
Okay,
starts at 3, then it
Okay,
goes up to
good 4.
So happy to trade the Dismember.
Yes.
Land. Staying defensive still. I think Mike should not have chump blocked with the token.
I would
We've been in a
definitely
much
agree with
better
that.
position.
Yeah.
Because now Jace, if he minuses, he dies, and then I've got Revolt live. Oh no, the push is out of the graveyard, so then never mind. Looks like there is a second push in hand though.
Okay, well, yeah, because you use the push to kill the Goyf.
See what he does. Just get in with my 7/7. Perfectly happy to take the damage now.
Yeah.
So minus.
Thought
Flashback
Scour?
Scour. I was trying to enable the Revolt on the push in my hand and conveniently found
Fetch land?
second land. Or third land, rather.
Yeah.
There's that, and then...
So Grimmy Boy coming down, and you can feign a Stubborn Denial up.
Yeah, he likely thinks that I have Stubborn Denial because I positioned myself to have it previously. But right now, it's on. I believe I'm on fetched for removal.
Yeah, because your Snapcaster and see what else we had off the bat there.
So the greedy play on Mike's side would just be to tap out for Kalitas, play a land tapped, and then if he untaps with everything, he gets to really just go off from there.
Yeah. So he's going to try.
I don't know what else he had in his hand. If he had Tarmogoyf plus another play,
that would probably been better.
I mean, it's good to utilize as much of your mana as possible, and if you can utilize as much of your mana as possible while playing the most spells you can, that's the best way that you can get back from being behind.
Yeah. So
casting one spell into my one spell when I'm ahead on board is not going to do it.
Yeah, I think it's Goyf Nurturing Peatland.
Yeah, that's a big K command right there.
Oh,
that's shoot your guy.
Yeah. And swing, because that's tough break.
I think if he had not
if he had not jump blocked early, he definitely would have been fine there.
I don't know if he would have been fine, but he would have been
better. He'd been alive. I mean, the Jace would have died earlier.
The Jace would not have gotten 2 down ticks at minimum.
Alright.
You have a friend.
I do have a friend. Oh, that thing?
He was sitting on my feet earlier.
He likes that.
Alright, looks like next up we have the classic match of Eldrazi versus Urza.
Is this a classic?
I feel like Eldrazi is probably one of the worst matchups for the Urza decks because like they have mainboard Chalice and Karn.
I mean, if I'm going turn 1, I'm slapping Chalice on 0, and then my next Chalice is going on 2.
Yeah.
Still don't want tacos?
No, I'm good. Thank you, though.
I have tacos you didn't want me.
Damn. What's wrong with this man?
A lot. But no, so with the